Want to know who the best is? That's him, Iceman.
Well, I'm back. Back at the bench after a couple of weeks. A little unplanned gap where I spent a week in hospital, and I've been at home for a week recovering from major surgery. I'm slowly getting there, but I can only spend about half an hour at most at a time sitting down before I start to get quite tired and sore. But enough about me, let's just get stuck into this F-14. I've finished painting the cockpit tub. That's just the original Revell parts. I haven't done anything to them, just painted them. Might do a bit of dry brushing here on the back, maybe on the stick in the back there as well, but I'll leave it as is. Here are the Tamiya parts all done up, and I've painted the canvas covers. I still need to paint a reflector sight in there. There's no HUD included, but that's okay. Got a bit of detail there on the radios and so forth. But what I'm going to do now is show you this. So here are the crew, Iceman with his knee-dectomy. I had to actually take off a little bit more to get him fit in there, and there's the back seat driver. So we'll just put them aside for the moment. All I'm doing at the moment is blocking in their major colours. So they're nowhere near finished. And I will be applying some stencils, some leftover stencils from my Tamiya project. The kit came with 2 of these, and some of these have been used, so I'll just use up the rest of these. And I'll just catch my breath here. It really hurts to bloody cough, I tell you that, when you got a big scar on your stomach. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, okay, so here's the nose, there's landing gear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this in. So I'm going to glue this in to the nose, make it go off, and then I can address this seam here and underneath here, which is mainly going to be hidden by the new TV camera set that I'm going to use from the Tamiya kit. I'm not going to glue the back end here, so I've got a bit more play when I actually put this into the airframe. So get that done. So whilst that's setting up, gluing and fixing seams, I can finish the crew and plock them in, and then I need to work on this canopy, which has got as many scratches as a brand new Border Models Lancaster kit. And it does need a little bit of surgery on the back, like I said in one of my updates. Where was it? I think it's on that corner. Just needs a little bit, and the windscreen is actually pretty good. I'll just mask that up, and I'll give it a bit of a polish first, and then I'll mask it up, and yeah, we can get to final construction phase. Let's get going. Look at this beast of a thing. I keep forgetting that the F-14 is massive in 1/32 scale. So you can see that the nose is somewhat complete, but it's not actually on. So I'll just pull this off, pardon the pun, if I can. If you look at the past videos, I'll just flip this monster over. Look at how massive this. See, that's a little bottle of Tamiya Extra Thin. Shows you how big this thing is. While I've got it here, I'll just show you in camera. So in a previous video, I added quite a few teeth, I guess you could say, with these mating surfaces here. So I get a really good, just do it slowly. So I get a nice good fit at these lower areas, because this is the harder area to actually, you know, you don't want to lose all that detail that's there. So that's looking to be a fairly nice fit. Okay, I'll just show you up here. There wasn't a very good fit there. I had to do a fair bit of sanding and filling to get rid of that seam, and there's a little lip here, which will be covered mainly by the new, the Tamiya TCS, the camera system thing there. So I'm not too fussed about that, but the rest of the nose piece went on nicely there, and again, yeah, a bit of filler, some black super glue, and I've rescribed all those panel lines there. So what I haven't done, and I think I mentioned this last time, is I haven't glued this back part together. It's just held on there by tape, and the reason for that is because I knew beforehand that the fit to the spine area here at the back is going to be problematic, and I'm probably going to have to put in a see, there's quite a big gap there. I'm probably going to have to put in a strip of plastic in there, just to, or maybe some milliput or something, just to fill that gap there. But yeah, so I'm at that stage now that I can glue this in. So that's what I'll do next. I'm still working on those bloody crew figures, and they'll go in there, and I'll spray a matte coat on this first before I start putting the, where are they? Putting these things here. But anyway, I don't want to zoom in. I just want to show you how massive this thing is going to be. So I've got a few other 132 Tomcats, and people keep asking me, oh, where are you going to put them all? Oh, I've got a big display cabinet, and if you put them on their side like that, they take off. Well, in theory, it's less room, but not really. I might have to sweep the wings on the next one. Alright, let's get to it. Well, the big beastie is nearly complete. Look at that. We've got the nose cockpit section on, but unfortunately the the fit is not the best. You can see a nice nasty gap there. If we spin Iceman's bird around, we've got a smaller gap there. Let's zoom in for the prognosis, for the autopsy, as it were. Okay, so there is a small step that way on that ledge there, but no gap, so that's really easy just to file back and just rescribe the lost detail and the scribing underneath. Okay, that's come together quite well. I've just got to add that last piece of the landing gear strut there. That's alright. Let's keep spinning. Slightly better fit there, not the best in the world. Again, a small step that easily fixed. There's a small gap there to fix as well, but the main problem is going to be fixing this section. There's a nasty step here, and I don't want to adjust it too much because the canopy, let's got to get this in camera, that's got to fit in there nicely, and in fact that's got a bit of a step too, so getting some cascading sort of errors happening there, but I need to address those. So on the side here, that's not a step, there's a small gap. I filled that with super glue. In fact, that one might be good enough to keep as is, whereas this one also is not too bad down there, but there is a small step. So let's get out the sanding sticks and a little bit more of this. I love this stuff. There's a black super glue, but it takes a while to go off. So filling and reshaping continues. What I have to do, however, on each side, I'll show you the other side in a minute, but I'll do this one first, is the gap here is just too big to put, you know, a glob of super glue or filler. It'll just shrink over time. I was able to do a little bit just down here, a little bit slightly off camera there. It's a very small gap. I've done one layer of the Bondo, this pinky ready stuff, and then I'll use Mr. Surfacer to clean that up with a bit of acetone. But for this strip here, I'm using 0.25mm evergreen. It's probably a little bit too thin, but it'll be just enough. So I've just cut off a little strip, and hopefully that'll fall in there without going right in. Might just give it a little touch of glue so it sits there, and then I might have to put another one on top. So I'll just show you the other side in a second. So that's just going to hopefully just nudge that in. So this is the sort of stuff you have to go to. I'll just explain what I've had to do, and if that's too much I can easily just slice it off. Come on, in you go. It doesn't want to go this side, that's okay. Alright, so I'll just give that a light coating of extra thin so that just bonds. Give that one more nudge. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's have a look at the other side. You can see it's standing a bit proud, but I can just get my hobby knife and just slice that open, and that's what I've had to do on this side. If I can get this in camera, there's big behemoths, so you can see in there that was a slightly larger gap, and I've had to use 0.75 strips for that one. Okay, and similar thing, filled in a little bit at the end there, squared it off, and then shoved that bit of plastic in there, and I've had to trim it a little bit. I'll just show you there. In camera, Chris, there you go. Alright, so that's how you fill a larger gap. You don't want to be using a lot of super glue filler, even though that's one of my favorites. I love this stuff, the black slow dry super glue. I've used that to fill all these seams along here and here, and of course underneath as well. They're all done now. Okay, so that's done. But I use the Bondo, the filler, to smooth over areas, larger areas. So that's what I've done there. I've built this sort of hump up because there was a massive step along here. So I've built that up. I'll wait for that to go off. This goes off pretty quickly. I've already done a couple of layers this morning. And yeah, so hopefully that'll be the end of that. And then I'll just do some basic rescribing. I've lost a bit of detail. I'm not going to recover all of it. I'm just going to try to do the best I can, particularly on the underside there. I'll just put in those panel lines back again and the rivets, and then yeah, we move to the next stage. And I've done a lot to dry fitting. Let's see if we can get the camera to come into play here. Of this bloody canopy, it's yeah, it's gonna, first of all, the noses come out too wide, so I have to sort of push to spread this, but there's a definite gap back here that I'm going to have to build up. I don't know whether to build it up on the canopy itself, or I might just build up a bit of meat, probably on the canopy actually. And you can see, yeah, the fit's not the best. There's a gap on this side as well. So that's the next stage: fill, gap, sand, scribe. So a little bit more sanding to do. This side's not too bad, bit of rescribing. But if we switch over to here very quickly, yeah, that edge down there is really shocking, so I need to apply a bit more putty. Ignore everything else on the bench there, some other projects going on, and then I've had a little bit of primer left and just need to touch up that. Just need to touch up in here. Just need to touch up back here. Oh, and in here. And in here. Alright, let's keep going. Get out the old Bondo to go.